All right, I want to show you guys how to get into programming mode. Right now, the FETCO machine is off. The way that you can tell that is because the power button is blinking. Now, there's a power button right underneath the front leg that if you turn that off, that kills power to the machine totally. When you turn the unit back on, the stop light is flashing and there's standby. If you push and you hold this button, it will pop us into PRG programming mode. So the way that this works is these are the up and down arrows, and we're going to scroll through the menu right here. There are specific sets of areas that we can look at, and I will put a copy of this on the website so you guys can see what it is, but it's pretty in depth. And so the first setting is going to be a brew by volume. And the way that you do that is you push the stop button to scroll. So right now we are brew by volume, and we are brewing 1.5 gallons. The next set is a brew by time, which is a minutes and seconds, so that's a 4-minute time calculation. 13 is the bypass percentage. Well, right now we're on 10%. A lot of these parameters are going to be changed based upon the coffee roaster's parameters on how they want your flavor profile to taste. So we don't, as technicians, we don't worry about that kind of thing. You need to worry about that with your coffee roaster. We only want to make sure that it dials in for temperature, size of the batch that you want to do, and everything else will be given to us as technicians by the coffee roaster. So we're not going to mess with the bypass right now. This is a pre-wet percentage, which is set at 0. This is a pre-wet delay, which is set at 1 minute. This is drip delay, which is set at 1 minute and 30 seconds. The last two are pretty much factory standard. So now if you'll notice, we've gone into batch 2, and with that, we are going to scroll through and we are going to ask for the same parameters. 2.1 is the brew volume, 2.2 is the brew time, 2.3 is the brew percent, 2.4 is the pre-wet percent, and 2.5 is the pre-wet delay, 2.6 is the drip delay, and now we are at a different set of parameters for 30. Same deal. Now this is what we are really interested in right here. Number 7 is the water temp. Currently that's set at 200 degrees, which we're not going to change that too much. Next is the hot water faucet, which is what we just repaired. You can have it on A for auto, on or off. The A for auto means that this button will only be illuminated when you are not brewing. They do not want you to pull off hot water from the boiler while you're brewing coffee. That's going to decrease the temperature in the boiler and decrease the way that your coffee tastes, or change the way that your coffee tastes. So that's why they don't want this being pulled off when we are brewing anything. So we're going to leave that on auto. And we're only going to brew at the set temperature. That's what the 1 means. That means that if it's not at heated up temperature, you cannot push the brew button. Okay, these buttons will be blanked out like this one is. It'll be nice and dark. Now you get to number 10, which is the advanced settings menu. The way you get to the advanced settings menu is you're on number 10, you click it into 1, and then you push the stop button, and then you see how the number changed to 50. 50 is the water level in the tank, and it tells you whether the tank is full or whether the tank is not full. As you can see, our tank is full, which should be, because in the last segment we filled up the water tank after we replaced the hot water tap. The next we want to check the brew basket sensor. Oh, sorry, we didn't want to change that. Brew basket sensor is 52. And that is saying that the brew basket is not in. Let's go get a brew basket so we can test that. So when we put the brew basket in, you'll notice that changed from a 10 to a 0. So that brew basket sensor is working properly. The next thing that we want to see is tank temperature. Right now the tank temperature is 92 degrees. We started heating up and then we stopped so that we could do this video right here. Of how to get in and change programming. So that's probably pretty accurate, about 92 degrees. Next we want to see what brew model this is, and this is a 2051 CBS 2051 Echo. We have the 51 right there. If it was a 2031, it would just read 31 over there, or it would be 32 for a double-sized brewer, where you have another brewer that's attached over here. Let's see here. 57 is the reload to the factory default settings, which is not something that we want to do. We want to leave everything the way that it is. And then our temperature scale is Fahrenheit or Celsius. Because we're in America, we're going to leave it in Fahrenheit. And then 59, you can put it in gallons or you can put it in liters for how much brew by volume you guys are having. All right. 60 takes us to the brew valves and the amount of bypass that you're getting. So we don't want to change that, sorry. And that's also 62 is the amount of bypass. 64 is a keypad test. Okay. All right, 64 was the keypad test, and that's it. If you'll notice, we pop back into space 11. So that is programming for any of the technicians out there that need help programming or don't really know what's going on with the programming or how to get into programming, or any of the owners of cafes that find that every once in a while FETCOs start to overpot. And that doesn't necessarily mean that it is it's broken. What it means is that these FETCOs can be recalibrated a little bit within a certain range so that there is you can recalibrate it. You can do that as a owner of the establishment without having a technician come out.